Hello and all, welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. Good guy, bad guy, Chael Sonnen and Daniel Cormier obviously talked about the potential co-main event for that potential White House fight card, and obviously they did suggest that Conor McGregor is to be the co-main event and possibly Jon Jones in the main event. We're going to discuss all of these things. Before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this is new from this channel, your channel, one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I think opinions are different when it comes to the UFC specifically. Obviously, you have a section of the fans that want the purest fight. They want the guy that deserves a title shot or a main event or what have you to be in that spot. But from the UFC's perspective, obviously this is a business. It's entertainment business, and it may seem like it's not fair for a guy like McGregor to be absent for 2, 3, 4 years. By that point, it would have been 4 years. Obviously, since last McGregor was in that octagon. For that guy to headline or be the co-main for probably the biggest UFC card ever. And for Jon Jones, who's been inactive for so long, to be the main event for that particular card. I do understand the frustration from fighters' perspective and perhaps from some certain fans' perspective. Even though I find it difficult to believe that people would be opposed to seeing Jon Jones or Conor McGregor on the same card, both main and co-main event. Obviously, July 4th being America's Independence Day, you would want an American fighter fighting in that main event. Perhaps two American fighters going against one another, as Chael and DC suggested. That being said, like I said, I do understand the frustration from the purist perspective and from the top contenders perspective, whether it be in the heavyweight division or the welterweight or lightweight division in McGregor's case. I totally get it. But at the end of the day, whomever fights on that card is promised, especially the main card, right? It's promised probably the biggest payday of their life just because those two guys are taking part on that card, potentially, right? So there's like pros and cons to it, right? As I said, from a purist perspective, it may seem like it's unfair, obviously, for guys to be inactive for so long and come and be the main and co-main for the biggest UFC card ever. I do understand that. But at the end of the day, this is a business. And if you're throwing the biggest card in the UFC history, right? First time ever on the White House lawn, right? Just, you're opening new horizons, one. And then if that is indeed the case, which this card, it sounds like will happen, apparently limited capacity, whatever that means, probably a few thousand people, and you're probably going to be vetted very well before you step foot on the White House lawn. Understandable, for security purposes, this is a logistical nightmare, and whomever has to deal with that, shout out to those guys, because this is truly a one of a kind event, and I can only imagine the ticket prices for that particular event. Limited capacity, the card will happen. And it's just very difficult for me to believe that, either Conor McGregor or Jon Jones will not be taking part in that card. Obviously, both gentlemen expressed interest in fighting on that card. And do you blame them? This is the biggest UFC card ever, potentially. And as far as Conor McGregor goes, Conor, especially nowadays, he could say a million things, and it's difficult to keep track of everything that Conor McGregor is saying. And sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt, whatever Conor McGregor is saying. But in this particular situation, I believe the guy when he says that he's interested in fighting on that particular card. Will this actually be the case? Well, personally, I have no doubt in my mind that both Johnny and Conor McGregor are interested in that particular fight. And I also have zero doubt in my mind that the UFC are also interested in Conor and Johnny both fighting on that White House card, perhaps as the main and co-main event. I would not be opposed to seeing Conor McGregor being bumped to main event as well, even though it is America's day and you want an American fighter fighting on that main, on the main event, obviously. I would suggest two American fighters fight against one another, so the winner will be American. That being said, it depends on obviously what happens with Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall, the upcoming fight. We cannot overlook Cyril Gane, so therefore it's probably bound to be an American-European clash. Perhaps, July 4th of 2026. Johnny headlining that main card, and as for McGregor, as Chael and DC suggested, and as we suggested on this channel prior to them suggesting that, Conor McGregor's best option for an opponent would be a Michael Chandler, perhaps at 170 or even 185. Let the guys fight. Let the guys come into that fight comfortably. I'm pretty certain both of those gentlemen walk around about 185. So we can go 185. I'm pretty certain it's not going to be 155. I'm pretty certain it's going to be either welterweight or middleweight for the McGregor Michael Chandler potential fight, right? We're just expressing thoughts, right? At the end of the day, nothing's official. Aside from the card seems to be pretty well in the working, right? But as far as fights, I'm pretty certain that the UFC is working on options. Obviously, we're months away at this point. It's a pretty long time away, but for such event, you need preparation, and you need preparations for months in advance, and you need backup fighters as well, because we all know what happened with Conor McGregor last time he was supposed to be in an octagon. Did not show up, right, due to an injury. Injuries arise, life happens, so it is a bit too early to determine who's going to be on that card. But most certainly, Johnny and McGregor are on that short list for the UFC. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more.